You think people are listening to you, but they are actually judging you. Society programmed you to believe that speaking your mind shows confidence, that being brutally honest makes you a respectable and authentic person. They lied to you. In reality, it proves that you lack total emotional control. When you constantly correct others or freely offer your unsolicited advice, you are not projecting authority. You are begging for validation. The 1% operate in a completely different reality. They use absolute, terrifying silence to protect their inner citadel while you bleed your leverage away in pointless arguments. The social and corporate algorithms of this modern era are shifting rapidly, and the window to learn the elite discipline of tactical silence is closing today. Every time you open your mouth to give an opinion nobody asked for, you are mathematically destroying your status. Shut this video off if you want to keep bleeding your power to people who secretly resent you, or stay to learn the dark psychology of why nobody cares about your honest opinion, and how to weaponize silence to become completely untouchable. We are living through an epidemic of chronic oversharing. Everywhere you look, people are desperate to be heard. They write long, emotional essays in comment sections. They interrupt meetings to insert their unverified theories. They pull their friends aside to give them harsh, constructive criticism. They falsely believe that having an opinion is the same thing as having power. But power is not loud. Power is a vacuum. The ancient Stoics understood a terrifying biological reality. Weak minds constantly need to be heard because they are terrified of being invisible. When you feel the burning biological urge to correct someone who is wrong, you are experiencing a spike in anxiety. Your ego feels threatened by the existence of an incorrect statement, and you subconsciously believe that by fixing it, you will establish dominance. This is a scam. It is an illusion. Giving your opinion is a massive expenditure of energy that yields zero return on investment. You are handing out your strategic position for free. You are revealing your thoughts, your values, and your emotional triggers to a world that is inherently unpredictable and often vicious. You are acting like a leaky faucet, dripping your internal resources until the well is completely dry. Why your honest opinion destroys respect. To understand why people secretly hate your advice, you must analyze the mechanics of human ego. When you offer your honest opinion to someone, you think you are handing them a gift. You assume they will look at your logic, recognize your superior intellect, and thank you for saving them from their own ignorance. This never happens. Human beings do not process unsolicited advice as helpful data, they process it as a direct threat to their autonomy. In the 19th century, the brilliant military historian B.H. Liddell Hart conducted a massive study of human conflict. He analyzed more than 280 military campaigns from ancient to modern history. He came to a stunning, counterintuitive conclusion. Out of 280 campaigns, only 6 were won by a direct attack on the enemy's main army. Only 6. That is a 2% success rate. Victory did not come from pitched head-to-head battles. It came from the flanks, from the unexpected, from the psychological breakdown of the opponent. Arguing with someone or forcing your opinion on them is a direct frontal assault on their identity. It has a 98% chance of failing. When you tell a coworker that their strategy is flawed, or when you tell a family member that their lifestyle is unhealthy, you are attacking them where their defenses are the strongest. You are pushing against a reinforced wall. The harder you push your logic, the harder they will push back with their emotion. They will not hear your wisdom, they will only feel your arrogance. By trying to assert your correctness, you strip the very screw you want to turn. You dig a deeper rut that you will never get out of. You destroy their respect for you because you have positioned yourself as an enemy combatant, not a strategic ally. The Stoic truth about fragile egos, the desperate need to be right, is the ultimate symptom of a broken mind. It is a public confession that you lack what the ancient philosophers called the inner citadel. The inner citadel is a metaphysical fortress inside your mind, a place where external validation cannot reach and external opinions cannot penetrate. If your citadel is fortified, you do not need the outside world to acknowledge your intelligence. You are perfectly content to let people be wrong. You are perfectly comfortable letting people look like fools because their foolishness does not compromise your internal structure. Look at how an elite operator handles the pressure of being misunderstood. John D. Rockefeller, the man who built the most powerful monopoly in human history, was universally despised by his competitors and constantly hunted by federal prosecutors. When the government dragged him into court to dismantle Standard Oil, they expected a fight. They expected him to defend his legacy, to passionately argue his case, to give his aggressive opinions on the market. They wanted to draw him out into a direct attack. Rockefeller refused to take the bait. He was a notoriously difficult witness to cross-examine because he completely suppressed his ego. He did not rise to anger, he did not defend his pride. He answered hostile questions with vague, polite, and agonizingly slow responses. He played the fool. He played the old, forgetful man. He sat there and let the prosecutors believe they were smarter than him. He did not care about proving them wrong in the courtroom, because he knew that arguing would only give them the ammunition they desperately needed. Rockefeller's self-confidence was so absolute, so chillingly cold, that he felt zero need to validate his intellect to people he did not respect. He let them control the conversation, while he retained absolute control of the market. You, on the other hand, sacrifice your market value just to win a conversation. How unsolicited advice makes you a target. Every word you speak without calculation is a weapon you hand directly to your enemies. When you are constantly talking, giving your take on the news, complaining about management, or criticizing the competition, you are mapping out your exact psychological profile for anyone paying attention. You are showing the world exactly what bothers you, exactly what you value, and exactly how you can be manipulated. You are a completely open book in a world full of predators. The great philosopher Soren Kierkegaard understood the fatal danger of direct communication. He knew that lecturing people or preaching from a position of authority instantly made him a target for rejection. Instead, he deployed a masterclass in tactical evasion, indirect communication. Kierkegaard wrote under multiple pseudonyms. He created fake personalities that argued with each other, presenting different perspectives without ever explicitly telling the reader what to think. He knew that you do not convince people by challenging their longest and most firmly held opinions. You do not barge through the front door. You let them come to the conclusion themselves. By keeping his true, honest opinion hidden, Kierkegaard became one of the most influential thinkers in Europe. He did not give his enemies a static target to attack. When you give your honest opinion, you are stepping out of the trenches and standing in an open field. If your prediction is wrong, you lose credibility. If your advice fails, you are blamed for the outcome. If your criticism is too harsh, you create a lifelong enemy who will quietly wait for the perfect moment to sabotage you. And for what? What is the upside? There is none. You took on all the risk and gained absolutely no leverage. You volunteered for the firing squad simply because your ego could not tolerate the silence. The danger of needing to be right. We falsely assume that if we do not correct a mistake, we are somehow complicit in it. We believe that tolerating ignorance is a sign of weakness. This is a fatal miscalculation. Tolerating ignorance is not weakness, it is the ultimate expression of power. It is the ability to look at a chaotic, incorrect world and decide that it does not require your intervention. To master this, you must observe the chilling psychology of the legendary heavyweight boxer Jack Johnson. In the early 20th century, Johnson fought Jim Jeffries in a bout fueled by intense, vicious racism. The crowd hated Johnson. They screamed horrific insults at him. Jeffries used dirty tricks and foul language in the ring. A weak man would have felt the need to correct this injustice immediately. A weak man would have argued with the crowd, yelled back at his opponent, and fought with blind, desperate rage to prove his worth. Johnson did the exact opposite. He smiled. He joked. He did not try to change their minds, he let them drown in their own toxicity. At every nasty remark, he simply delivered a calculated, punishing blow and went right back to smiling. He did not absorb their bitterness. He let Jeffries exhaust himself in a fit of rage, while Johnson remained completely relaxed, physically loose, and mentally impenetrable. He won the fight not just with his fists, but by refusing to engage in the emotional argument his enemies desperately wanted him to have. When you feel the need to be right, you are stepping into the ring and fighting on your opponent's terms. You are letting their ignorance dictate your emotional state. You are giving them the remote control to your brain. The ultimate power of keeping quiet. There is a profound, terrifying power in the person who refuses to explain themselves. When you stop giving your opinion, something magical happens to your social dynamics. People become confused by you. They can no longer predict your reactions. Because you are not constantly broadcasting your thoughts, the words you do choose to speak suddenly carry massive, disproportionate weight. Scarcity creates value. When water is abundant, it is free. In the middle of the desert, it is worth more than gold. By hoarding your opinions, you make them exponentially more valuable. The philosopher Epictetus laid down a brutal, unforgiving rule for this. Let silence be your general rule, or say only what is necessary and in few words. This is not a metaphor. It is an operational mandate for survival. The next time you are in a meeting and someone proposes a flawed idea, do not interrupt. Watch them, observe their posture. Let them talk themselves into a corner. Let them expose their own ignorance. The next time a friend complains about a problem but doesn't actually want a solution, do not offer one. Nod, remain silent, and protect your energy. You must accept the painfully pragmatic reality of human nature. People do not want the truth, they want comfort. If you try to give them the truth, they will hate you for it, so let them have their illusions. Let the idiots destroy themselves. Keep your mouth shut, keep your eyes open, and build your inner citadel so high that the noise of the outside world simply fades into irrelevance. The 1% do not waste their time trying to fix a society that wants to be broken. They use silence to navigate through the chaos untouched. Time for brutal honesty. Look inward right now. Do you give your honest opinion to actually help people, or do you do it because your ego is terrified of being irrelevant? Defend your position in the comments below.